If it is a matter that affects land acquisition and distribution, of course, we have the FOO. If it refers to agrarian justice, we have the Undersecretary for Legal, and so on and so forth. Support services, etc., etc. With all the CLOAs that we have issued, how many farmers are still on the land which have been distributed to them? That's very important. And after defining or after finding out as to whether or not these farmers are still occupying their lands, those lands which have already been vacated or have been transferred to other persons or for some other reasons are no longer in the possession of those original recipients of the lands, I want that these lands be reverted back to the Department of Agrarian Reform and be redistributed to other farmers who are really responsible and who are willing to till the soil. So in line with that, after determining all the lands which have already been distributed and are no longer in the hands of our farmers, we revert it back to DAR, we distribute it. Now secondly, because most of the reasons, or rather the real reason why there is a failure in many of the agrarian reform programs that have been initiated by past administration, the reason behind is because of the lack of support. But we have been boasting that we have been giving a lot of support, right? We have been giving them farm-to-market roads, tractors, post-harvest facilities, small irrigation system, and yet they're still complaining. Many are still complaining that we have not attained the level of sufficiency that have improved the lives of our farmers and at the same time making a dent on the food sufficiency as a whole in general for the agricultural sector. How is that so? Now, the culprit behind, as we have already found out, is because many of our ARBOs, which are the nexus, the links to our farmers that have been given the support, are the same ARBOs again and again receiving the same support. And I'd like to emphasize this. And many of the ARBOs which we have already formed, only a small percentage of which are actually agrarian reform beneficiaries. Out of an ARBO in general, they would only have around 30%. Is that right? That are members, that are ARB members, but most or the rest are non-ARBs, small farmers or any agricultural farmers for that matter. So the support that is intended for our ARBs are diluted and are not really going directly to our ARBs, who are supposed to be the recipients of the support so that their lives will be enhanced in terms of economic progress and development. And for that matter, I am now ordering whoever the support services that we should make a policy that every time that we distribute CLOAs, encourage our ARBs to become automatic members of ARBOs. Okay? If necessary, make it as a requirement. And I don't think there is any violation of any constitutional provision for that matter. Because what we are actually doing is we are doing this in order to see to it that they will become recipients of further support services coming from the Department of Agrarian Reform. Now, in relation to the policy that I have given, that we should be able to account for those CLOAs that have already been issued, Louis, please draft a policy on how we would be able to initiate action against those lands which have already been alienated and are no longer in the possession of our supposedly CLOA beneficiaries. Yeah, for lands illegally transferred and for its reversion back to DAR. And I want that the RDs here, who are actually in ground zero, will play an active role in this regard by utilizing their their offices, their respective offices, to actively initiate action. When you say action, suits for the reversion of these lands back to DAR.